Over time, many Liberty coins were lost, melted, or damaged. This natural loss has made the surviving high-quality coins extremely rare. And rarity is the #1 driver of value in the coin market. Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating world of a coin that has captured attention among collectors and dreamers alike, the 1971D Liberty coin, a piece that sparks curiosity not just for its design, but for the rumors, myths, and real market values that surround it. The year 1971 marked a significant transition period in coin production. Economies were shifting, metal compositions were changing, and mints were experimenting with new processes. Coins from this era often carry subtle differences that can dramatically affect their value today. The 1971D coin, minted in Denver, is one such example. At first glance, it appears like any other coin from its time, but collectors know that the real story lies in the details, the mint mark, the condition, and the rare variations that can turn a simple coin into a treasure. When people hear about coins being worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars, it often sounds unbelievable. Numbers like $787,000 or more get thrown around, and it raises a critical question. Is it really possible for a 1971D Liberty coin to reach such a value in today's market? The honest answer is both simple and complex. Most of these coins are not worth extraordinary amounts. In fact, many are valued only slightly above their face value. However, there are rare exceptions, and those exceptions are what fuel the excitement. If you are interested in checking your own coins, there are a few key things to look for. Pay attention to the mint mark, examine the surface for unusual patterns or doubling, and consider the overall condition. Coins that appear shiny, with clear details and minimal scratches, are generally more desirable. Using a magnifying glass can help reveal small details that might otherwise go unnoticed. That coin could be worth far more than you ever expected. Even if your coin is not worth hundreds of thousands, it can still have value. Some coins sell for a few dollars, some for hundreds, and a rare few for thousands or more. Every coin has a story, and that story is what makes collecting so fascinating. Today we're diving deep into one of the most talked about coins among collectors and treasure hunters, the legendary 1982D small date copper Lincoln cent. This is not just another coin story. This is about a hidden rarity, a minting mystery, and the kind of discovery that turns everyday people into collectors overnight. Let's start with what makes 1982 such a special year in U.S. coin history. In that year, the Lincoln cent underwent a major transformation. Rising copper prices forced the U.S. Mint to change the composition of the penny from mostly copper to a zinc core with a thin copper plating. This transition didn't happen cleanly. Instead, multiple variations were produced at the same time. That's where things get interesting. In 1982 alone, there are 7 different varieties of Lincoln cents. Yes, 7. They differ in mint mark, date style, and most importantly, metal composition. Among these, one variation stands above the rest as the ultimate prize, the 1982D small date struck in copper. Normally, Denver minted coins from that year with a small date were supposed to be made of zinc. But somehow, a few copper planchets, the blank metal discs used to make coins, slipped through the system and were struck with the small date dies at the Denver Mint. This mistake created one of the rarest modern U.S. coins ever discovered. Now here's where the excitement really builds. Most 1982 pennies you'll find are practically worthless, just 1 cent. But the rare 1982D small date copper penny? That's a completely different story. Verified examples have sold for thousands of dollars, and collectors are constantly searching for more. Some speculative claims online exaggerate values into extreme ranges like hundreds of thousands or even millions, but let's stay grounded in reality. High-grade, authenticated examples can reach impressive prices, especially when graded by professional services. The real magic lies in the rarity, only a handful are confirmed to exist. So how can you tell if you might have one? First, look for the mint mark. You need a D which means it was minted in Denver. Second, examine the date carefully. The small date version has a thinner, more delicate appearance. The numbers look more refined compared to the large date version, where the digits appear thicker and more rounded. Third, and most crucial, check the weight. A copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams, while a zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams. This tiny difference is the key to unlocking whether your coin is ordinary or extraordinary. Think about that for a moment. A difference of less than 1 gram could mean the difference between 1 cent and thousands of dollars. This is why collectors always say, never underestimate your change. The history behind this coin adds even more intrigue. During the transition in 1982, the U.S. Mint was working under pressure to reduce costs quickly. Old copper blanks were still in circulation inside mint facilities, and new zinc blanks were being introduced. With both materials in use at the same time, errors were almost inevitable. But very few errors slipped through in a way that created something as rare as the 1982 small date copper penny. It wasn't even widely known at first. Collectors spent years studying 1982 pennies before the possibility of this rare combination became accepted. When the first verified examples were confirmed, the coin community was stunned. And that's what makes this coin so fascinating. It's not just rare, it's unexpected. Even today, people search through rolls of pennies, old jars, and inherited collections hoping to find one. It's like a modern-day treasure hunt hiding in plain sight. Now let's talk about condition, because that's where value can skyrocket. Coins are graded on a scale, and the closer a coin is to its original mint condition, the more valuable it becomes. A worn example might still be valuable because of its rarity, but a pristine, uncirculated piece can command a much higher price. That's why serious collectors rely on professional grading services. Authentication is critical, especially with a coin like this, because there are many similar-looking pennies that are not rare at all. And yes, there are also fakes and misidentified coins out there. Some people mistakenly believe they found the rare version when they actually have a common zinc penny or a large date variety. That's why precise identification is everything. So if you ever think you found one, don't rush to sell it. Get it weighed, examined, and authenticated properly. Now let's step back and appreciate what this coin represents. It's more than metal. It's a moment in history when economics, manufacturing, and human error combine to create something truly special. It's a reminder that even in a world of mass production, unique treasures can still emerge. And perhaps the most exciting part? There's still a chance that more are out there. Somewhere, in a forgotten drawer, an old piggy bank, or a dusty coin jar, another 1982 small date copper penny could be waiting to be discovered. Imagine being the person who finds it. That's the magic of coin collecting. It turns everyday life into a hunt for hidden value. It teaches patience, observation, and curiosity. And sometimes, just sometimes, it rewards you in a way you never expected. So next time you see a penny, don't ignore it. Today we're diving deep into one of those fascinating pieces, the 1983 Liberty coin, a coin that might look simple but can, under the right conditions, be worth far more than its face value. This coin comes from the United States Mint, an institution responsible for producing billions of coins every year. In 1983, the Mint was going through a transitional period. The early 1980s were tough economically, and coin production had its own unique challenges. There were changes in metal composition, tighter budgets, and fewer official collector sets being released. All of these factors created the perfect conditions for certain coins from that era to become rare and highly collectible today. Now let's talk about what the D actually means. That small letter stamped on the coin stands for the Denver Mint. Coins minted in Denver often carry this D mark, and while millions were produced, not all of them survived in collectible condition. That's where things start to get interesting. The 1983 Liberty coin, often referring to the Lincoln cent with the image of Abraham Lincoln, wasn't originally considered special. It was just another penny in circulation. But here's the twist: in 1983, the U.S. Mint did not release standard uncirculated sets for collectors. That means finding a 1983 D coin in pristine, mint condition today is incredibly difficult. Most of these coins went straight into circulation. They were used, scratched, worn down, and damaged over time. So when collectors find one that looks almost untouched, with sharp details, clean surfaces, and strong shine, it becomes something truly rare. And rarity is where value begins to rise. Some high-grade versions of the 1983 D coin have been graded by professional services like Professional Coin Grading Service or Numismatic Guarantee Company. These organizations examine coins under strict standards and assign them a grade based on condition. A coin graded MS-65 or higher can already be worth significantly more than face value. But when you move into ultra-high grades like MS-67 or MS-68, the value can jump dramatically. There have been cases where exceptionally preserved 1983 D coins have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars at auction. While claims of extremely high values like $787,976.44 are not typical or verified for this specific coin, the excitement comes from the possibility, the idea that something so small and common could, under rare conditions, become incredibly valuable. Another reason collectors love this coin is the possibility of errors. Minting errors are like hidden secrets. Sometimes a coin is struck slightly off-center, or there's a doubling in the lettering, or even a mismatch in metal composition. In 1983, the Mint transitioned fully to zinc core pennies coated in copper, replacing the older solid copper coins. If a coin from 1983 is found made from the older copper composition, it could be extremely rare and valuable. That's why collectors often weigh their coins carefully. A standard 1983 penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. If it weighs closer to 3.1 grams, like older copper pennies, it could be something extraordinary. The design of the coin itself also carries meaning. On the front, you see Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of unity, leadership, and resilience. On the back, depending on the version, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, representing history and national pride. These designs have remained iconic in American coinage and continue to attract collectors around the world. What makes coin collecting so addictive is this combination of history, mystery, and possibility. You never know when you might come across a rare piece. That old jar of coins in your home, the change in your pocket, or even a forgotten drawer could hold something valuable. And the 1983 D Liberty coin perfectly represents that thrill. It reminds us that value isn't always obvious. Sometimes it's hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to look closer. The difference between a 1-cent coin and a $1,000 collectible often comes down to tiny details, a mark, a condition, a weight, or even a small error that most people would never notice. So next time you see a coin, don't just spend it. Take a second look. Check the date. Look for the mint mark. Feel its weight. Because coins like the 1983 D Liberty piece prove that even the smallest objects can carry incredible stories, and sometimes, surprising value. Today we're diving deep something that looks ordinary at first glance, but carries a story stretching across centuries. A coin that has passed through countless hands, witnessed history unfold, and today could quietly be worth far more than anyone ever expected. This is the fascinating world of Liberty coins, where history, rarity, and hidden value collide in a way that continues to captivate collectors and treasure hunters around the world. Now picture this, a coin from 1985. Many people would assume it's just spare change, something forgotten in a drawer or buried in an old wallet. But in reality, certain Liberty-themed coins connected to that era, depending on mint errors, rarity, condition, and demand, can reach astonishing values. Some examples have shocked the market, with collectors willing to pay thousands, even hundreds of thousands, and in rare speculative cases values being discussed as high as $787,976.43. Sounds unbelievable, right? But in the coin world, these stories are very real. To understand why these coins can become so valuable, we need to step into the deeper history behind Liberty coins. The image of liberty has been one of the most powerful and enduring symbols in coin design, especially in the United States. Liberty represents freedom, independence, and identity. Over time, this figure has appeared in many forms, from flowing hair designs to seated figures, to modern interpretations that still carry that same spirit. Collectors are not just buying metal. They are buying a piece of identity, a fragment of a nation's story. And when it comes to coins connected with liberty, the emotional and historical value often drives prices even higher than the material itself. Now let's talk about the 1985 connection. While 1985 itself is not widely known as a year of classic Liberty coin releases in the traditional sense like earlier centuries, it plays an interesting role in the modern collectible market. Coins from that year can still become extremely valuable due to rare minting errors, limited production runs, or pristine condition known as perfect grade coins. For example, a coin that appears completely normal might actually contain a small minting mistake, maybe a misalignment, a double strike, or a subtle design variation. To an untrained eye, it's nothing. But to a collector, it's a hidden treasure. These errors make coins unique, and uniqueness is everything in the collector's world. Condition is another powerful factor. A coin from 1985 that has never been used, never scratched, and preserved in perfect condition can command a much higher price than one that has circulated for years. Professional grading companies evaluate coins under magnification and assign them a score. The closer a coin is to perfection, the more collectors are willing to compete for it. But here's where things get really interesting. The market for coins is not fixed. It moves, it evolves, and sometimes it surprises everyone. A coin that was worth a few dollars 10 years ago might suddenly skyrocket in value due to rising interest, limited availability, or even viral attention from collectors online. That's why stories about coins reaching massive values, like hundreds of thousands of dollars, continue to appear. These are not everyday occurrences, but they are enough to keep people searching through old collections, hoping to discover something extraordinary hiding in plain sight. Now imagine you open an old box at home. Inside, you find coins collected years ago by a family member. Among them, a Liberty-style coin or a rare 1985 piece sits quietly, waiting. Most people would overlook it. But someone with knowledge might recognize a detail that changes everything. This is what makes coin collecting so addictive. It's not just about buying and selling. It's about discovery. It's about the possibility that something small and forgotten could turn into something incredibly valuable. Another key factor that drives prices is demand. When collectors around the world start focusing on a specific type of coin, prices can rise quickly. Auctions become competitive, collectors outbid each other, and suddenly a coin that seemed ordinary becomes the center of attention. And let's not forget the role of storytelling. Every valuable coin has a story. Maybe it was part of a limited mint run. Maybe it contains a rare error. Maybe it was preserved in perfect condition for decades. These stories add emotional weight, making collectors even more eager to own them. In today's digital age, the coin market is more active than ever. Online platforms, auctions, and collector communities are constantly sharing discoveries, price updates, and rare finds. This has made it easier for people to learn about coins, but it has also increased competition. That's why knowledge is power. The more you understand about Liberty coins, minting errors, grading systems, and market trends, the better your chances of spotting something valuable. So the next time you come across a coin from 1985, don't ignore it. Take a closer look. Examine the details. Check the edges, the design, the condition. You never know what you might find. Because in the world of coin collecting, value is not always obvious. Sometimes, it hides in the smallest details. Sometimes, it waits for the right person to recognize it. And sometimes, a simple coin can transform into a story worth thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is not just about coins. It's about curiosity, patience, and the thrill of discovery. It's about turning everyday objects into extraordinary treasures. Now here is where things get even more interesting. Not all Liberty coins are equal. Some were minted in huge numbers and are still easy to find today. Others were produced in very limited quantities or have unique errors, making them extremely rare. These rare coins are the ones that attract serious collectors and can sell for astonishing prices in auctions. Another important point is authentication. As prices rise, so does the risk of counterfeit coins. Serious collectors always rely on trusted grading and authentication services to ensure that their coins are genuine. This adds credibility and increases resale value.